Good fucking morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode of Proof of Person, episode 35 today. Happy fucking Tuesday. Today we have Henry, CEO of Cybercongs with us. Henry, thank you for taking the time. Honored to have you here with us. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, Blue. Happy to be here, bro. It's been a fun kind of week. So yeah, just happy to be DJing, talking. But yeah, thanks for having me.
Let's go, man. I've been looking forward to this episode, to having you here with us for a while. We've been chatting for a while as well, and yeah, it's been a good week. Happy Lunar New Year as well for the ones who celebrate, and for the ones that don't, just enjoy the good vibes. And I hope you, have a new blessed year for in general. It's gonna be a great show, man. So excited for this one. For
Me
anyone
too,
that
bro.
is.
By the way, me too. I've been excited to hop on with you. I'm a fan. I pop into your streams. I watch you. I've watched you grow. I know you've had a relationship with Cyberkongs, over the years. So, bro, I've been looking forward to doing this with you.
Let's go, man. Yeah, huge fan of Cyberkongs, from Ati, Mew, you, everyone in the team. Pav, obviously, been very close to you guys for the last few years, which feels for like 2 decades. But so much respect for what you guys have been building ever since. So yeah, we'll be getting into all of that, Cyberkongs, into everything about you and so many interesting things as well. What's up with the market, Alpha, a lot of great things. For anyone that's just joining, make sure to like, comment, retweet. It's going to be a great stream. Share with your friends, with your mom, with your neighbor, with your dog. And yeah, we'll get started. Henry, you're probably one of the top 10 most famous people in the space. But for anyone that doesn't know you or needs a reminder, do you mind doing a quick TLDR of who you are and your background?
Yeah, sure, bro. So I'm Henry the Grape. I'm the man. I hate using the word CEO of Cyberkongs. It sounds so official, and we're pretty degenerate. But I'm the CEO of Cyberkongs, and if you're not familiar, we're a project that launched March of 2021, and I don't want to say we're responsible for a lot of what we see in the space, but we certainly played a role in kind of moving some of this forward. And we're coming on a couple weeks, 5 years that we've been around. So it's something we're really proud of.
Yeah, really OGs. You were March and Bored Ape was April, right? 2021.
Yep.
Was anyone before you guys, or like were you, if not the first one, or like,
well,
at least the ones that are still alive? Definitely.
I think of the ones that are alive, like, of course, Punks, right? Like Punks led the way for all of this. And you've got the Crypto Kitties and Mooncats and those like OG, 17 collections. I guess Hash Masks, they came before us, but I don't really know that they're still around in a prevalent way. So yeah, I think fair to say from the archaeological NFT project realm, yeah, I think Cyberkongs are probably one of the oldest, if not the oldest, most active alpha group / community in NFTs.
Nice. Yeah, no, back in it's 5 years, but it feels like 50, man. It's so crazy how fast it's going and how long it seems anyways. I joined November 2021, so yeah, a few months already from Cyberkongs and Bored Ape.
Man, you're weathered in this space.
Yeah, experience getting some white hairs already. But yeah, from before that, you were a veteran. What's your story? How did you end up in Web3 and your first catalyst into the industry?
Yeah. I was in the so I'm in the US. I was in the Coast Guard back in the day, like late teens, early 20s. And I got out. I have a flooring business. I'm sitting here in my store right now with my rugs behind me. I kind of joke that I'm a professional rugger for a living. But it was my brother Huda, who's also in the space. He works at Crypto Slam. He does content and whatnot. And it was like, end of 2020 when we were really like looking into NFTs. We were in crypto, but NFTs, I just didn't understand them. And I remember in December, it was like right around when Pranksy was doing his raffles for Punks, that I was trying to understand it. I really didn't understand it at all. And my first project that I got into was actually Pranksy's NFT boxes. That was that was like the first thing. Pranksy and Carlini's an OG Top Shots holder, was deep in crypto kitties. They started NFT boxes, which was basically like I call it a subscription. It was every month they had a box. That box had art in it, and I'm talking like OG NFT artists, Coldy, A Lot of Money, X Copy, just some really cool people. And it was my first kind of intro into collecting digital art, and they were really hyped. And you could get some really cool art from really cool artists at much lower prices than you can today. And that was my first swing at NFTs, and it was really interesting to me. The PFP craze hadn't really started yet. It wasn't the time where every single day there was something new and exciting. It was still like there were things happening, but much slower. Art blocks wasn't really taking off at that time. And, as I started to learn and understand what this was, I was probably like many other people getting into projects, trying to flip things, losing money on things. And I eventually found myself in Kongs based on Huda. Huda was the one who messaged me. He was like, we really need to look at Kongs. There's something really special happening here. Early days of Kongs, when there was a few hundred of us in Discord. And
there was no team, right? It was just like people trying, like building together, like vibing, DJing in trenches. Well, no trenches even.
Yeah, not
been there.
Yeah, not like the trenches hadn't fully formed yet at that time, right? And there was no team. So for people who don't know the history of Kongs, we launched our Genesis collection. There's 1,000 of them. It launched on an OpenSea contract for 0.01 ETH back March 3rd of 21. There was no team. Our artist and original founder, Mio, just put them out there, had no idea like what they would do. And when I say the rest is history, from there, it was literally community members that were stepping up and taking on roles in a real organic way and starting to put this together. And I started off as a holder. I was a holder, became a mod, became community manager, went on to the Council of Kongs. So like back in the day, we had the Council of Kongs that was sort of like the leadership team. And then eventually we kind of went to, a different structure where we took on titles, which again, I feel like can be a little bit lame, but somebody kind of has to be like the guy, right? Like, there's somebody who sort of has a final say. And when you're talking with Web2 companies, it's just more in line with what they're used to be like, okay, this is our CTO, this is our CMO, this is our CEO. So, just kind of worked my way up, man, from a holder to being on the team.
That's awesome. Yeah, and back then it was just like that. Like the most active community members, or the ones that were adding value, were the ones that made it to the team. And instead of now that just hire me because I have a Twitter score of 300 or whatever it is, right? So so entitled, it's so much entitlement nowadays of just fake titles or made up titles. But back then it was organic. It was like, I want to see this project succeed. I want to build with you guys. That's where it was. And
it was organic, right?
Yeah, and the saying of like it's the friends that you do along the way. I guess that's when it started. Did you try with other communities as well, like while being in Kongs, or was this like this is home and like this is it?
Well, no, I was in other communities. I recognize. So I have a group that I started with my brother and another guy named Joe called the Non-Fungible Idiots. That was like our little group. And we had some cool people in there, and we were a degenerate group, kind of just scouring the space for wins, and people kind of feeding the machine with, hey, I found this or I found that. So I was really active in our group. I was in Ape for a while, so I was in the Ape Discord for a while. But the thing was, there was no community to me that was as legendary as CyberKongs was. There was a very different feel because you could go into the Kongs Discord. And I was still learning, you could ask the stupid questions and not feel like you were the dumbest guy in the room, even if you were. And I think that's always been part of the ethos of Kongs is like people come in, if they have questions, it's going to get answered. There are just a ton of really intelligent people in there. So I think like once I found my home in Kongs, of course, I never left. While I may have gone in other communities and spent a little time there, CK was my home.
Yeah, no, I think maybe you connected as well a few things with loyalty and like your veteran experience, and obviously being a Bills Mafia fan, that's very hard as well. And you really respect the journey and the loyalty Yeah, you die hard. Like when you find your home is just where you
You know, you brought up a great point, because I think one of the things that I took to in Web3 before I looked at, just the financial side of what Web3, sort of is now, is when I got out of the service, you have a real deep camaraderie with the guys that you're deployed with. And, you miss that. I got out when I was 23 or 22, and like you miss that. You form these bonds with people, and as you grow up and become an adult, like, yeah, you might have some time to hang out with your buddies, but I've got kids. That time is kind of gone. Like that time to just go out is difficult when you're raising children. And the cool thing about Web3 and the cool thing about communities are, like, you really can establish great relationships with people, from all over the world, even if it's just in Discord, or we take it to the next level. We do a lot of IRL meetups. We talk in voice chat all the time, but I really, really enjoyed the side of Web3 of connecting with other people. It was like this thing that I had been missing, and I didn't know I was missing it until I found it. And I was like, oh, this is like, dude, don't get me wrong. There's a lot of people who talk about their community and they're like, community this, community that. Like, it is an important element of any project. Like, by the way, if you don't have a community, you're probably not going to make it, right? Yeah. Like you need that not base. Anymore. Not anymore. Exactly. So that was something that I really enjoyed and respected about Web3. And honestly, it's one of those things that's kept me hooked through the good and the bad times.
Yeah, you find yourself and also yourself in others in a way, and yeah, that bonding, it's unmatchable. Kongs in many ways helps with that and elevate others. And you guys were always early, you always innovating, experimenting, always with alpha. So there's a lot of really good perks as well in there. And you did Beacon as well very early, right? Yeah. Like you met Gary V. I don't remember which year it was, or if you continue to do it, but you've done a few IRL events. Are you guys still very active on that side, or not that much?
Yeah, well, okay, not as much lately. The IRL experience was one of those things that like goes back to our early days from NFT NYC 2021, Art Basel, NFT LA, VCon, the first and the second one Gary invited us to, and we did activations at both of those. We bring our 8-foot Kong with us, and like we usually draw a pretty good crowd to it. We did
you guys had a Lambo, no? Or a purple Lambo. Yeah. I remember Atsi showed me that like a few years ago. Like, what the hell?
Yep.
Like one of the most creative, if not the most, like stands. Like it was the CyberKongs one.
Yeah, it's awesome. We did a massive party with FaZe Clan at their warehouse in LA back in 2022. We've done get-togethers in Singapore, London, the Netherlands. Like we bonded quickly and early. I think lately one of the things we noticed is like there's not as much bang for your buck in going to the IRL events like the conferences. Like, it's a spend, and you go out there and it's just sort of turns into a bunch of people just trying to shill you at your activation. So yeah, we kind of, lately we've not really been doing. I think the last event we probably did was in Asia. Maybe around the Ordinals time. So it's been, a year ago at ETH Denver, we did a holder event out there, and that was actually pretty cool.
ETH Denver. I didn't go to that one. I've been to a few like Hong Kong, Singapore, NYC, but I'm still yet to do a Kongs event. Hopefully
next one, bro. Next one, if you can make it. They're just a load of fun. Just a bunch of degens getting together and having a good time. It's honestly, like, when we do it, it's one of my favorite parts. At ETH Denver last year, we barely went to the conference. We got a house up in the mountains, and we had like 15, 20 Kongs that we stayed up there 4 or 5 days, and we just had we were degenning and just having a good time.
ETH Denver was just the excuse, but didn't even go. You were just like, classic.
We did go down like one day to the actual conference, I think. But again, if you've seen one, you've kind of seen them all. You're not missing a ton. So, so I have way more fun hanging out with like participants in the space than I do, corporations that are setting up their activations to try to get you to buy something.
Yeah, I agree. Now, a big shout out as well for Inverted is here. Such a close friend for many years. Taro, GM, GG, Meta, Lobab, Spotter, Takagi. Thank you for being here with us, and to all the Kongs. Super strong community always. But yeah, man, like CyberKong story is such a robust one, and we'll be here for 3 days if you detail it. But which milestone do you think are the most important ones for people to remember? Obviously, Banana, SEC. I don't know if you want to go back to the running times, the VX, like as TL or as extensive as you want to.
No, I'll try not
but
to bore everybody. Because to your point, like, yeah, you could be here 3 days talking about
insane.
Kongs.
Yeah, so much. Decentralized Genkai, like there's a million things.
I think for me, like some of the big moments were, of course, like, Genesis Kongs migrating to the new contract that allowed them to yield Banana. Big moment for us, right? Changed the space in 21 and 22. What you saw is like every project kind of copied that idea of having a ERC20 token that was either yielded by an asset or was airdropped or whatever the case was. So Genesis Kongs yielding. And by the way, like the reason that the whole baby breeding experience existed is because, Mio could have sold a second collection. Gen Kongs were, 1,000 Gen Kongs. Could have sold the second. He wanted to put that value into the holders' hands. It was like, hey, let the holders benefit from making the next collection, which is essentially what happened when we bred the 4,000 baby Kongs. Yep. Fast forward to August of 21, we released the VX Kongs. That's our gaming avatar. They're awesome. I still look at the VX collection every week, and I'm amazed at how cool they are. They're fully rigged avatars. You can use them in games, Unity. They're just a ton of fun.
They were first of its kind as well, like back in the day, no? Like you guys have been like first trend setting in so many aspects.
They were essentially like the first VX collection. Now, Meebits came out before, but they were just stationary. At the time, they weren't, fully rigged. When these came out, fully rigged 3D avatars. Every Gen Kong got one to match theirs. All baby Kongs got one. And then we minted 10,000 of them. So that was fun. And then right after that, the market just got insane, right? You had Banana running to $120 per banana. Gen Kongs ran to an all-time high of the floor price was 200 ETH, and still holds.
I thought it was 100 ETH. That was still a lot. 200.
200. Yeah,
2022.
21. It was September of 21, I believe.
That's insane, man.
Yeah, 200 ETH Gen floor price. Babies were like 17 ETH. I mean, that time in the market was just
yeah.
It was insane. We were on this trajectory with Yuga Labs, right? It's who's got the higher floor price, apes, Kongs, and we kept leapfrogging. And eventually, they larger collection, and they just went a different path. And obviously they've had some great success over there. After that, we did our game, our VX game, which the thing was the VX Kongs existed because we made a really big play in the metaverse. That was a big part of where we were going. We were building in the sandbox. We thought we'd be living in there soon. Right. And, it didn't work out. But while we were waiting for the metaverse, we did our own on-chain game called Play and Collect, which we just ended this past year. But, that went for 3 years, where people could use their VXs and on a daily basis, get, whether it's tokens or NFTs. And then, after the VXs, after the VXs, it was shortly after. Okay, so VXs were August of 21. Play and Collect came out in March of 2022. Yeah, we're still trying to figure out, what are we doing? What's the game plan? And then in January of 23, we got subpoenaed by the SEC. And that was, that wasn't good. That was just tough. It was a massive detour in our game plan, right? All of a sudden, now this is your focus. And not only is it your focus to have to fight the SEC, but your legal counsel is advising you to not do anything, do nothing, because anything we wanted to do, dude, what's funny is 27 months of dealing with the SEC is literally it's like a lifetime in crypto. We watched so many other projects,
everything.
Yeah. And there wasn't much we could do. Anything we could do, legal counsel would be like, yeah, but this could be over soon and we could get through this and blah, blah, blah. And
when your lawyer tells you don't say anything because it might be used against you, but in a way bigger scale as a project and as a brand and with so many holders, right? So
Yeah, yeah. We were essentially, because the community didn't know until December of was that December of 24. That's when we came out, I think, when we officially got welsed by the SEC. You're doing stuff, and everybody's probably wondering, like, well, why aren't Kongs doing anything? They see Pudgies and they see Azuki and they see Yuga Labs, and they're just like, what the hell are Kongs doing? They lost their Riz, like there's nothing happening. The one thing we were kind of able to do in that time, because we weren't making any money off of it, was Prometheans. We etched rune number 2.
Ordinals.
Ordinals, yeah. We got into Ordinals. It was fun. It was something that felt like new and fresh. And we could do it because like nobody could come back and be like, well, you sold this or you made money off of this. And so, we spent a decent amount of Bitcoin to etch rune number 2. Again, it's an experiment. Like you just have no idea where are these things going, how successful will they be. And so we airdropped 21,000 Prometheans to people in Ordinals amongst, Kongs got in on that as well.
Huge.
And so what's
such a big cook. Like they were going like 8K per piece or something like that before.
Yeah, I think they hit 0.093 Bitcoin. And it was fun. It was like in a time where like there wasn't a lot of fun happening for us because we were just so deep with the SEC. It was like, oh, dude, this. I remember talking about it with the team. And it was like, are we going to do this? Like, are we going to do this and go for it and etch an early rune? And while it may not have made sense to some people financially, I think we were just so hungry to do something.
Yeah.
Because it was just rough, dude.
Wait, yeah, you spent like $500,000 in like getting the rune number 2, no? Like 500K. Yeah. I just remember that. Like, yeah. Jesus Christ.
I think total spend between inscribing everything and airdropping it, I think we were like 13 BTC into everything when you include etching rune number 2. So yeah. It was in some ways like the dumbest business decision you could make. But in some ways, like something that we needed because we were like as a team, we were hurting. Like when you're doing fun stuff and then all of a sudden that fun becomes like a legal quagmire, you're like, dude, what are we even doing? Like, this sucks. This is not why we were doing any of this. And not to mention, like, we didn't do anything. Like, we knew we didn't do anything wrong. There was no fraud. There was none of this stuff that they thought maybe they could get us on. I mean, taking you back to 2021.
Yeah, I wanted to ask that. I don't know if I heard it yet, but or people remember, or if it was mentioned, like, how did it start? And like, why only you guys and not other NFT projects? Like, how was it so targeted and so specific?
So, we don't know what caused the initial investigation, but the assumption is Banana was written about a lot, right? Yahoo articles, YouTube videos, people talking about passive income, all of these types of things. And after the FTX crash in, was that November of 22? The SEC and enforcement agents at the SEC were looking. Keep in mind, these people are career enforcement agents, right? They're career attorneys. They are looking to advance in the SEC. Well, how do you advance? You bring a big case to the table and you hope that you get something really juicy out of it. And at the least, you hope you get a settlement out of it, where you can have a press release saying, we went to look at Stoner Cats, look at Impact Theory. These were NFT projects that settled with the SEC. And that's a win for that enforcement agent, and they can use that on their resume. So what we think is that these YouTube videos and Yahoo articles caught the attention of someone that was like, ooh, we're going to go after these guys. And what they didn't realize is, like, first off, their accusations that we sold Banana, that we created Banana to sell it, to enrich ourselves. Well, the thing is, they had all the wallets, and so they could see, oh no, the team didn't actually sell Banana. So it couldn't have been created for that reason, for the team to be able to sell. Ultimately, what they like, now keep in mind, this is going on for 2 years. Ultimately, the hill that the SEC wanted to die on was that we got royalties from the secondary sales of Kongs. And because we got royalties from the secondary sales of Kongs, it's a security. That was their thesis. And so keep in mind, they keep moving the goalposts. They say, hey, you did this, you combat that, and you show like, no, we didn't do that. So then they're like, okay, you didn't do that, you did this. And this goes on for 2 years, year and a half, at least, maybe that part of it. And ultimately, yeah, the part that they the hill they died on was that we got royalties from secondary sales, which, by the way, if that is a violation of the Securities Act, well, so is every project that ever launched.
Everyone else, yeah. It seems like you were punished for being early and just trend setting again.
And dude, we did some cool shit. I was going to say, when we, back in 2021, we had auctioned off some, a legendary Kong and another Kong through Christie's. And we used that money to donate to Virunga National Park, which is in the Congo. And they used that money to set up Bitcoin mining servers, which are powered by a hydroelectric dam. And long story short, that has allowed them, there's a civil war that's been going on there for years. That's allowed them to bring in income to keep the park going, to pay their rangers, while the park isn't open for tourism. So like, we're actually a project that was deeply rooted from the beginning in giving and being generous and donating. And so it was really weird when it's like, of all of the rugs out there, of every rug that ever existed, you don't go after them, you go after us. And when they finally came to us it was probably about July of 2024, and they offered a settlement, which was an attractive settlement. Financially, it was like a low number. I think originally they wanted us to settle for like just a little under $5 million with them, which is ridiculous. They came down to like $150,000 or $200,000, which is like, okay, well, that to make it all go away, that's a decent price. But to do that, we would have had to get rid of Banana. We would have had to burn all of the Kongs in our treasury. And we would have had to burn all the Banana. We could never use Banana. And we're like, okay, well, if we do this, we're effectively cooked. Not to mention, it's a massive overreach. And we were like, no, we're not doing that. So, so we fought them. They Wells noticed us, and we said, okay, well, if we got to go through a couple more years in court with these idiots, then that's what we have to do. But for the greater good of the space, the greater good of CyberKongs, this is what we have to do. And it's a little bit of a chess match, I guess, because in March of this past year, we got notified that they dropped our case, and I think that's because they knew like there was nothing there. There was nothing there.
It just dragged you guys for 2 years, though, and pretty much froze you from doing anything. So it was still a big damage, obviously, and so much resources and time and money and energy to fight them for 2 years. Like,
it's like you couldn't even imagine what it's like when that target gets put on your back, and you can't run from it. You can't just be like, okay, I'm done. You're going through it. It's like you're in a barrel and you're going over the waterfall, whether you like it or not. You're in it. So when they say like, hey, I had to testify twice, you don't get the option of being like, I'm not going to. You have to. And it's to say it's an inconvenience is an understatement. It's intrusive. Every bit of it is intrusive. They want your emails, they want your messages, they just want, I mean, dude, what they want is everything. And they want to go through it because what they want to do is find that you committed fraud, because then they want to use that fraud as a way to get you to settle for something less.
Whoa. You okay? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh shit! I thought we froze for a second.
Okay. But they want to get you. They want to catch you doing fraud so they can get you to settle for something less than fraud. They weren't able to find that because we didn't do it. We're an honorable, ethical ecosystem. So it was nice to come out the other side of that.
Yeah. At the end, did they ask for a settlement or anything at all, or they just close the case?
No,
the final resolution.
Yeah. Of course, they asked for a settlement. We said no, we're fighting. They Wells noticed us, and then months later they dropped it. And of course, like Trump, played a major role in that, and them loosening up on how the SEC was targeting crypto communities. But yeah, they dropped it. We got a thank you, and we're done with you.
Wow. Yeah, I know. Yeah, true. Now that you mentioned Trump, like if he was president, but like before it started, maybe a whole different story. But yeah, we cannot change that anyways. We
Yeah,
cannot go
yeah,
back.
it could be. Could be.
But wow, man. Well, glad you guys. I mean, the shackles are off, and now you guys are off to the races now, and now you have a huge new experiment with that star.
Yeah.
You want to share more on that?
Yeah. So we came out of the SEC stuff, and the first thing we wanted to do was just kind of right the ecosystem a bit, try to get things back on track. So we kind of like rebranded Kong's, new logo, new website, and we wanted to switch up the tokenomics on Banana, which were yielded by Gen Kongs. And so we basically converted Banana to Kong back in September. And our native token Kong will be basically distributed between a few different pools: Genesis Kongs, Evolution Kongs, Stakers, etc. So we did that. Like that's part of it. We still have seasonal distribution coming up, but like, and there's an art upgrade for baby Kongs in there as well. But one of the things is, I think for people, especially in Kongs, like it's fine. Like it's fine. I'm not going to say we hit a home run with that, by the way. I'm not saying people are like, oh my gosh, you just changed the game again. We're always thinking of like, what can we do that's fun and innovative and different? And what we did before, meaning like what we just rolled out in 2025, was none of that. We knew that, but the goal was like, let's just get this making sense, and then let's like work on some things. So we build a Discord trading bot called TrenchBot, so people can trade. In if you're in the trenches, you can trade directly in Discord. But the idea of Death Star, when the strategy tokens were, really kind of popping off, and like, Punkster was called early in Kong's, 2 million market cap. So people were in early, and we were looking at it, and like part of me was like, man, why didn't we like have this kind of idea for our ecosystem before we launched Kong? Because there is something that's kind of cool about it. But we were always looking for like, what can we do that's different? And out of conversations that we had, amongst the team, amongst the community, we kind of came up with this inverse idea of a strategy token, which was like, what if the strategy token was not made to be supportive? What if the goal of it was not like, hey, we're going to buy the floor and relist the floor for 20% over floor, as conventional strategy tokens do? What if this was just indiscriminate? It didn't care what it did to the floor. The purpose of it is that the flywheel is working all of the time, regardless of sentiment. And so we came up with this idea, and we called it the Death Star because, like, in theory, the Death Star targets a collection. It uses the volume, the tax on the token, which is 10% tax. It uses 9% of that tax to buy whatever the targeted collection is. And when it buys it, it lists it on our marketplace for 20% under floor. So somebody has the opportunity to be able to buy that NFT for 20% less. And we're targeting specific collections. Collections that
you have 3 winners, no, that can buy it first, or was that I think I read that.
Yeah. So one of the changes that we recently made was that when and this is to kind of avoid the bots as best as we can, when an NFT is bought and listed on the marketplace, there's a queue. Okay, so 3 wallets are selected, and they go in order. Each of those wallets has 10 minutes to be able to buy that NFT for 20% under floor.
I don't know if it's Yo, Henry.
Yo.
So sorry, man. My Wi-Fi just died.
You're good, bro. Yeah, I don't care. It was all good. All good.
Thanks, man. Let me just check that we're still live. I don't know. I think we're still
we are
live.
Yeah, I think we are.
We are on StreamYard. I don't know if Twitter. I think Twitter died.
I think so. I just think it wasn't showing. I think it just wasn't showing.
Are we live? I think we are live. What the fuck?
I think so.
I just refreshed and it seems like we are. We are on Abstract and on the other ones as well. That's so weird, man. I'm so sorry. Like, this has never happened before.
Bro, it's no issue.
Just
we're good.
Wi-Fi died and that was it.
It happens, dude. Technology.
Yeah, I changed my camera. I usually use my phone, but this is a Mac camera. I don't know. In case I need to switch to my phone's Wi-Fi data, I don't know. I'll have a backup plan. Awesome. Sorry. So where were we? Death Star fun.
Yeah, Death Star. So yeah, Death Star lists the NFT 20% under floor price. When that's listed, a queue starts of 3 wallets. Now, to get into the raffle, to get into the queue, you have to essentially stake 1 million tokens, okay? For every 1 million Death Star tokens, you get an entry into the raffle. The way you stake it, so we call it staking. It's actually you're using your tokens to vote for the next project. That's how you're actually staking them. So every season, the next 5 projects, and you have it up on there right now, the next 5 projects are selected for you to vote on. When you vote, you're committing your tokens, essentially staking them towards like voting for that project. And by doing so, for every 1 million tokens, you're entered into the raffle to be able to buy the NFT from the floor, from the R marketplace. And there's 3 wallets picked. So wallet 1 gets 10 minutes to buy it. If he doesn't, it goes to 2. If he doesn't, it goes to 3. And if he doesn't, then if you own a Genesis Kong, any Genesis Kong can buy the NFT. And like, you know, we're working out the kinks of it right now. We've been kind of tweaking it. We're getting feedback. We're constantly kind of evolving it. But like literally 1 week and 1 day into it, we've almost burned more tokens than any other strategy token that's existed for months.
25%, something I think I saw.
Yeah, 25%.
That's crazy.
We're almost at all-time highs of the token right now. Like almost a 1.1 mil market cap. I think, you know, what's really cool about this is like, it's shown me a few things. Like, first off, we did this because we just, number one, we didn't care what everybody thought. Like when we came out with the Death Star and the marketing, everyone's like, oh, Kongs are rage quitting. Kongs are like, whatever their opinions were. The whole purpose of it was to invoke a feeling in you and make you feel like, do I love this? Do I hate this? We're tinkerers. Like we wanted to tinker with something that TokenWorks already created, but like we saw what one of the flaws in it is. Okay, the TokenWorks normal strategy tokens really work on long-term conviction. A lot of those strategies are sitting on NFTs that may never sell because their floor prices may never hit those the price that they're listed at. Where with Death Star, it doesn't care. It should probably never hold any NFTs because they're always being sold because there's always an arbitrage situation there. So that bootstraps the flywheel because when that NFT is sold, the ETH from the sale of that NFT on our marketplace goes back to buying that equivalent of Death Star and then it burns it. So, 25% burned. What have we done?
159 NFTs sold.
159 NFTs at 90 ETH.
Nakamigos, Cool Cats, World of Women, I think, Captains.
Okay, so we started with Moonbirds, Experiment. We'll come back around to them again, I have no doubt, once this thing is tuned. We went from Moonbirds into Mutants. Oh, Doodles.
Yeah, I can see it as well.
Doodles, then Mutants, then Nakamigos. I think yesterday we sold like 57 or 58 Nakamigos. I think today we're already probably at 10 or 11 Cool Cats. And dude, I think what we're seeing in when we came out with this, knowing like people may feel a certain way about us, it's really funny, bro, because nobody is talking about this. I mean, like if you're a
But
DGen, well, if you're a DGen, you are, right?
we
You're
talked about
talking.
it last Friday. Memo and I, Bored Ape friend as well. We're like, this is super cool. And one of the first things that we were thinking, we're like, they're gonna be like bots are gonna be on their lookout. Like when they buy something, they're gonna be right there to try
Yep.
and snipe it. And you
Yep.
just mentioned that now with the raffle and the 3 winners. I think that's a very good implementation as well. And
What
like
I
holders.
mean is that the cabal, the KOLs, the shot callers of the space, if they're not in it, if they're not getting paid, if they're not getting tokens, if they have no incentive to talk about anything. And there's a part of me that loves that, because I always thought that there is a part of Death Star that really caters to the people and the participants in Web3, like the people that understand it, that understand, like, yeah, dude, this thing is not about just like nuking a project. It could, make no mistake. It has the ability to nuke a floor. But it also has the ability, and we've seen it, to be really supportive of a floor, to bring volume to a collection, to bring attention to a collection.
Yep.
And it's just been eye-opening that, like, you know, the people who move the markets, it just makes sense. It's everything I already thought I knew about this, which is those people in those circles only talk about the things that they are
Their own
invested
bags.
in. Yeah,
Yeah.
their
It's
bag
always-
bias is so high. And honestly, like, part of Death Star is just being tired of the trash, being sick of that, being tired of the people who somehow got elevated to positions where, like, they're the ones everybody's listening to. It's really odd, but that's how it works. So we're playing the game, and I'm happy to see that the people who have gotten in early have had some great opportunities to buy blue chip collections for 20% less. Yeah, and look at the chart. It's
I love the ethos of cyberconks in many ways, but one of the main ones being giving back to the people, like helping the holders with new opportunities, and always experimenting and that loyalty. I mean, most of the OG cyberconk holders have been there for years, right?
Yep.
And giving them this opportunity to join new blue chips for a 20% discount. And obviously the chart speaks by itself. I mean, it's been less than a week and it's cooking. I mean, there's going to come a time in a few days or a few weeks that these market makers and the ones that have been elevated to a position, they're not going to have a choice, and they're going to have to FOMO into it anyway. So
I believe that. I believe that there will come a point where you just can't avoid talking about what this is. And the cool thing about this, like, if you really think of Death Star, like, we could have easily made this thing where it just buys the floor and dumps it into bids to where like we or the protocol is what gains from everything. But like, we're always trying to think of, like, how do we benefit the community? How do we benefit the holders? It really is, like, it's central to everything that we try to do. I'm not saying everything we do always benefits everybody. It's a really hard thing to figure out, but it is certainly at the core of when we're making something. It's like, hey, how can other people benefit from this? And I think what we've been able to see over the past week is holders have, like, token holders have. And if you got in early, and even if you get in now, dude, I am not a shill. I just mean, like, the chart speaks for itself right now. I don't need to even say anything. This entire thing, this entire thing is in the hands of the holders, and that's what I love. It's literally like what you're seeing. This is a community, the Death Star holders, deciding, like, what's the trajectory of this. Not market makers, not Henry the Grape. This is the community deciding if this is valuable or not. And so, like, from my perspective, it's been just awesome to see, and I'm really looking forward to us continuing to, like, refine this thing and make it better and more efficient, and looking for more ways for it to be able to benefit the token holders in the Kongs ecosystem.
Of course. Yeah, no, in a time that is very odd, like, there's not much going on. Like, these just breath of fresh air as well. And, like, again, Kong's innovating and trying to be different with tweaking an idea or bringing a completely new one. I think this is great, and the community is obviously behind all of you guys. And again, the chart just shows that. And you're almost at 100 ETH from the NFTs that you bought. So
yeah. It's funny. There were a bunch of Punkster holders, and I thought about this last night. I was talking to my brother, or maybe we were in voice chat, or I don't remember where the conversation happened. And Punkster holders that were mad at the beginning when we came out with this, that we were not giving a percentage of the protocol's tax to Punkster. And I thought, and they're like, this is trash because you're not giving back to TokenWorks. Any strategy tokens that don't pay homage to TokenWorks are, a failure. They're dead on arrival. And I'm like, are you so stupid to think that anything that ever happens after you created a little bit of something, right? And dude, props to TokenWorks. Adam even tweeted about this, just saying he loves to see people innovating. But like, as a holder, you think in perpetuity that everybody who ever does anything is supposed to just give you money because you did it first? Like, imagine if that was the stance of punks.
Imagine if that was the thing. Kongs would be fucking billion.
Bro, yeah, imagine if that was like the standard that anything you do, everybody owes you for. Like, come on, man. That's just an absolute ridiculous stance. And so, like, I'm happy for the people who believed in it and got in like really early. And I'm happy to see, like, I still think the potential of this thing is not even close to unlocked. And it's fun. And to your point, like, it brings fun back to like a space that has been absolutely 100% lacking a lot of fun. There's some little things here and there, but like, it's just fun to have something different to try out and play around with.
It's been weird after Info5 died, and thank God it did in a way. I mean, I never did that. I was it just feels forced, and I don't know, not my thing. Even though a lot of people made a lot of money, and respect to whoever was doing it, it was just so much noise and so much garbage, and projects that nobody cared about, just ramming the whole timeline. So I think people are just looking for new opportunities now, but there's not that many. The Death Star is definitely one of them, and there's a couple of other ones, but I don't know. Like, I'm still waiting for people to pay attention to Death Star or more on Kongs. Like, I think there's so many entries into CyberKongs, but like the budgets are very different. Which one would you say is the best one besides obviously the OG? Also being the most expensive one.
Well, to access, so many projects these days have a thing they're doing, and what I've noticed a lot of it is like the IP play. Like, that's really the hot thing, right? Like, we're going to be the next whatever, streetwear, Pixar, gaming, like whatever it is, people are going the IP play. And while we've tried that a bit, I think what we realized in this past year was like, let's just stay in our lane. We're a degenerate community. We are we're tinkerers. We want to just be doing what our community wants us to do, right? And so that really starts in our alpha chat, which is Wall Street Kongs. And I look at it as like, your entry into Kongs is your entry into a community that's filled with every bit of the space being covered. If it's the Solana trenches, if it's DeFi, if it's if it's ETH, if it's ordinals, whatever, if you're InfoFi or you're farming some other protocol, like, you're going to find somebody in Kongs that's doing it, and it's going to be early. Okay. Your entry into Wall Street Kongs is a baby Kong, or technically it's our CyberKongs Evolution collection, which is a migrated baby Kong. Baby Kongs shared the same contract as Genesis Kongs. We wanted them on their new contract. So to get into Wall Street Kongs, you need an Evolution, or you can buy a baby and migrate it to the Evolution contract. It's just a gas fee to do that. Or a Genesis Kong. Either one of those gives you infinite access to Wall Street Kongs. We do have Wall Street Kongs passes that you can buy. They're not worth buying right now. They're too much money. We have to work on bringing that price down, because a Wall Street Kongs pass either gives you a month or a year access. And right now it's $150 a month. It makes no sense. Okay. So an Evolution is your best trip into Wall Street Kongs. But for anybody listening, if you come into our Discord, I will give you the role of Wall Street Kongs, because you can come in. You'll eventually lose the role because it's a temporary role. It might let you in there for like a week or two to just kind of check it out, get a feel for the vibes, especially with Death Star going on. Like, it's nice to just see like, oh, there is an active community here that's degenning. Like Del Mundos, I think, were called in Kongs day one. But if you come into the Kongs Discord, I'll give you the role if you ping me. You can check it out, and then if you're like, no, this is a place that I want to like actually stay, then an evolution that's the cheapest entry point in there, which I think is like maybe 0.15 or 0.16, somewhere in that range. We have our VX collection and our Genkai collection, which I think cover in like the 0.01 to 0.03 range, but they don't get access to Wall Street Kongs. So baby Kongs get access, Evolutions get access, which is a baby Kong, and Genesis Kongs do. But
do Dead Star, I don't know, like 10 million tokens holding get
no,
access? No,
we've had people ask, and like, while it can make it would be interesting, but the one thing, and you kind of recognize this at the beginning, is like, hey, we could talk about Kongs for 3 days. Why is that? Because not only have we done a lot, we complicated a lot. And I think if we start giving roles to people holding a token that really isn't part of our ecosystem, like Kongs made it, but it's not our utility token, then you start watering down the evolutions, the NFTs that we want to gain access. So it's like, hey, if you want to come in right now, I'm basically letting people in, giving them the Wall Street Kongs role if they come in. You can check it out, but I don't think we're going to have plans to have a like a minimum for because I think it just starts to get a little bit watered down for the NFTs.
Yeah, I think you'd kind of try that with Prometheans and Decentralized. No, like there was a lot of new communities that joined in because the supply was so big. Exactly. Yeah, but man, I've researched for a lot of hours before this show. And I don't think I've hit like 1/3 of what Kongs is, even though I know, like, because I've been here for 4 years as well. Like, I know a lot of the process, but it's so difficult to remember everything. Maybe even better, like, if you guys at TLDR of like all the milestone and just make it like a 3-page article or something, like for people to keep track and like, holy shit, you guys have done, and remember, and for people to remember, like, you guys have done a million things. And
yeah, it's a good idea. 5 years when you're kind of building all the time, there's a lot of stuff that you do, and you're right. It's hard if you're not like really in it. Yeah, it's hard to keep track of all of it. So it's a deep ecosystem. We've done a lot of stuff, and of course, if anybody has questions, hit us up in Discord, hit me up on X. We're always happy to do our best to try to get to everybody.
Yeah, no, definitely. And like people need to know and to remember more of Kongs. It's the flagship NFT, and like the culture is so much up from everything NFTs and everything Web3. So
it's a ton of fun, dude. It's one of the most active, fun Discords in Web3. And that's not just me because I love Kongs. That's people coming in that are like, holy shit, I didn't know there was still a community like this out there. It's a really active, awesome community. But again, it's not for everybody. It's if you're looking to sharpen your edge, like if you're looking for that place where like you're going to get info early and there is stuff going on, bear or bull, Kongs is a great home for people. But I'm not saying it's the only home in Web3. People have their places they like to chill, but Kongs has kept the fire lit for 5 years, and no plans to extinguish it anytime soon.
That's awesome. I think a lot of people have been grasshopping or just leaving the space lately. But feel like finding that home and like your peers or like the friends that you really get along with, it's very rare nowadays.
It is.
I don't know if it was more common or more fake back in the day, but yeah, I think just that sense of belonging and just being yourself. It's great. How do you envision Kongs in 5 years at TLDR? I think just experimenting and innovating still, just going full blast as you guys always are.
Yeah, dude, exactly that. And like while everybody else goes down that other path that I see them going down, and best of luck on those things. And I think some of them will achieve those, those milestones of being the next, again, whatever they're trying to achieve, the next Nike or the next, Pixar. I really think our lane is just continuing to try to build and tweak and innovate. And we do that as a team while we keep an active community with opportunities for people to, again, like you either take the path in Web3 of buying an NFT, hoping the floor price goes up so you can sell the NFT. That's one way. Or you treat that NFT as your entry into a place where you can make more than what you spent on that NFT. And to me, that's where the value is for Kongs. Like, you get in there and you get a Kong, whether it's a Genesis Kong. Let's say you come in with an Evolution, you get the Genesis Kong because it's a reflection of what you've been able to accomplish in that community, from the value the community has brought to you through the wins. And I just think that is the thing that's, when I say the easiest for us to do, that's what we're comfortable doing. Having tools in the Discord, bringing opportunities, having alpha callers in there, because like if our IP is ever cool enough that somebody wants to do something with it, awesome. But like, bro, I'm not making an animated series from, I'm not doing that. Nobody else on the team is doing that because that's not who we are. If it happens one day, amazing. But I think what we are is really an embodiment of what Web3 actually is when you cut out all the bullshit. When you cut out the bullshit and all the glazing that everybody does to each other, and you actually like figure out why are most people here, I think Kongs is what really checks the box of like, well, yeah, I like the friendships and I like the camaraderie. But I'm here for opportunities. And if you're just rich as hell, which most of us aren't, if you're just rich and you just want to buy NFTs because you hope 5 years from now they've 4x, 5x, 10x, awesome. Like that's a whole different path. But the majority of people, I think, are here for opportunities. Yep. And that's what we keep bringing to the table in our Discord, unlike probably almost any other blue chip out there.
Yeah, most people just expecting for the team to do something or a miracle for their bags to pump and the floor going up, and yeah, barely any alpha or other opportunities like the million that Kongs has provided. How is that? Just real quick on the, I mean, you mentioned the Wall Street channel. Is it like split into channels, or is it all in one channel, or you want to keep that alpha private? And
no. Happy to, no. Wall Street Kongs is split into like within Wall Street Kong. Like there's a Pokemon channel in there because there's a ton of Pokemon.
Fuck yeah,
a ton of Pokemon chats.
Especially now after Logan Paul 16 million and all the Pokemon like racing in prices, speculating that it's gonna.
So there's a Pokemon channel in there. There's like a referral channel where people can put their referrals for new protocols, and then we have our shitcoin channel, which is where we have our bot in there, so you can trade using our bot, or you can just drop your alpha in there. We have like a long format alpha channel for people to post their thesis on like something that's coming up that they want to see. And then there's like an alpha channel, which is kind of just like short, like, hey, this is something I'm getting into. But it's not really like a long format of like, hey, what's my conviction on this? It's just a place where our alpha callers can ping when they're onto something, and they're pretty careful about that. You're not getting pings in the alpha channel all day long, because those guys, I think, are pretty sparing on when they want to let everybody know, like, hey, this is what I'm getting into. But yeah, there are multiple channels within Wall Street Kongs. There's a little something for everybody in there.
Nice. Yeah. I thought it was an obvious question, but just in case, not that it was overwhelming or all in one and it's hard to keep track for people. Always better to have it divided. But I mean, you guys know how to do it best. And you have the trench bot as well. So
yep.
That helps a lot as well.
TrenchBot's a great tool, dude. It's like RickBot, but it has the feature of just being able to buy directly in Discord. So picture like everything comes up, all the information about the token. There's a buy and sell button. You can literally just, you don't have to leave Discord. Somebody drops some alpha in there. They drop a ticker, they drop a contract address, and you can literally just buy right from there. Nobody else sees it, but you see it, and it's simple and fast.
Can you connect it? No, just from Discord, like one click, you can buy and sell. Like it.
Yeah. So it creates, it uses Privy. It does Privy. When you set up your when you set up your TrenchBot account, you do create an Ethereum and a Solana wallet. Ethereum. So right now TrenchBot does Ethereum, it does Base, it does Solana, it does Ronin, it does BNB. So you set up a wallet, you fund it, and then once you've done that, you can trade with it in the channel or in your DMs. So dude, it's not Axiom. It's not made to be like 3 screens. This is like, this is easy. This is like trading with Trojan, in Telegram. You just don't need to leave Discord. It's just right there.
Just a Discord bot that is easy. And you see the alpha call and you can just click on it and buy on that, right? So
yeah, exactly. Yep, exactly.
Simple. Instead of having a million tabs open. Yeah. Man, we're gonna be here all day. Like we can be here all day. Good. But I know you're busy, Henry. So we can do one last question and we can start wrapping up. For the people that are out there and in general, just want to build something big, something ambitious, I think you guys are one, if not the best example to keep experimenting and building cool shit. What's your best advice for builders and just the delusional, the crazy people that want to change the space or just create something cool?
Yeah, I'm not much for like chase your dreams, you're all gonna make it.
All
Okay,
this
like
crap, yeah.
yeah.
Let's better to be real. Better to be real. But
Yeah,
realistic.
bro. I used to tell everybody like, yeah, do it. Uh, but the thing is, I know I'm not helping anybody by actually doing that. So like, yeah, nothing wrong with chasing your aspirations, right? But understand what this space is. If you're an artist and you want to put out your photography on the blockchain, amazing. Like if you love it and you want to do that and you've got a few people who are interested, amazing. Don't expect it's going to come in and like melt faces because it's probably not going to. Understand what this space is. Vitalik said it just a few weeks ago when he's like, if we don't do something different, then basically Ethereum is just going to be a casino. And he said that because like that's essentially what it is. That the majority of people here are looking for the next opportunity to leverage to make money. So if you have something amazing and it's a protocol and it can help and it can work, I'm not saying don't chase it. Understand, that it's a lot of work. I wouldn't shy away from the fact that like it is a lot of work. You're going to let a lot of people down. You've got to have a thick skin because when things are good, everybody loves you. As soon as things are not good, death threats, etc. So just know what you're getting into because once you get going, if you do find success and if you are an ethical and moral person, you're going to feel a commitment to that community that may never end. And if you're lucky and you get a community like Kong's that's understanding and they've been through multiple cycles, amazing. But it is hard to keep attention. So just make sure if you're doing it that you are insanely passionate about it because it's a lot of work. And I don't say all of that to say like, don't do it. I say it to just be like, make sure you love it or that you're just perfectly clear from the beginning that this is just like, hey, I'm launching this collection, whatever it does. And, I'm not staying stuck to this thing for the rest of my life. But I think a lot of people come in with big dreams because they hear the Twitter spaces where everybody glazes each other and they talk about rising tides and they talk about how amazing everybody is. And that can start to really get like a little bit euphoric where you're like, oh my God, listen, I've been in 12 spaces today and everybody loves everybody. And I'm going to put my thing out there. When in reality, most of what you hear from people is complete and utter nonsense. They don't mean half of it. They just don't know what else to say. So they try to be positive. Be real. If you love what you're doing and you have conviction in it, and if you think it can help, awesome. But don't expect to come in and think you're going to change the game because it is hard to do. And there are, there are those that I'm convinced control a lot of what we do. We see it, whether it's from the central exchanges, whether it's from, even at higher levels at the governmental levels, like there is a lot of barriers within this space. So it's tough grinding, but if you love it, sure, go for it.
Man, yeah, couldn't have said it better. I think I agree in all of it. And even if some people might think that it's harder than ever now, or that there's less opportunities, or that it's not 2021 like it was, even though like back then it was pre-money basically. There's still a lot of chance and a lot of opportunity. And as you said, like being passionate, loving it, and thinking of others as well when you're creating, instead of just like I want to be a millionaire and I don't know how I get there. Having a plan and executing properly helps a lot as well.
And find your niche. Find your path. Like find it because like and maybe don't be so quick to rush what you're doing. Get people behind you, gain yourself an audience. Right now, it's not as simple as I'm just going to launch something and everyone's going to love it. It's more than likely not going to be that for a long, long time. So find your niche, find your community, get a good foundation. And like you don't need to get rich off of this. If you're successful, then the financial component to it can come later. But the reality is like, start, unless you have something completely game changing, which most of us don't, start small, start getting out there and then launch when the time is right. Because dude, you've been around, like it's tough out there. And just like cut through the nonsense, seriously cut through it, lock in and understand all of this for what it is. I think we need more of that instead of like, the normal thing you hear from everybody, like, oh, everything's great, and yeah, just
We're all
locking.
millionaires.
Yeah, yep.
One of my favorite latest one is like, I mean, the market sucks, but thank God I'm all in stables. Fuck you. Like, everyone is in stables. Everyone's a genius. Everyone's a millionaire.
Everybody,
like,
bro. They all sold the top, bro. They all sold the
yeah,
top,
they all
but
sold
none of
120.
yeah,
Everyone's in
yeah,
stables.
everybody, bro. But they're not buying now. It's dude. There's a
I love
lot.
it.
There is so much LARPing out
So
here.
much bullshit.
It's unbelievable the amount of people that are disingenuous and just straight up lie about their achievements or their successes. So like if you're out there and you see everybody posting their wins or their this or their that, just know that, man, the majority of people in this space are just like all of us and are struggling to find the next thing, and they're not all hitting seven figure wins every other month. Like that it ain't happening. It's not happening. Some guys are, very few.
We've been long enough to know majority, like 95% are bullshit, and some of them are. But like, most of the times, the ones that are actually cooking don't say anything in public. Yeah, they just keep it like just. Yeah. Those are the ones that actually have power and like market making and like have the contacts and all that.
Spot on, Blue. Yeah, it's you're 100% on that one.
Man, it's been a great show, Henry. Any last words? Anything you want to leave the audience with? Anything at all?
You did awesome job, man. You know the Kongs. You've been rocking with us for a while here, so I genuinely appreciate the invite. Like, it's nice when you're like going on with somebody who's supportive. No, dude, you gave an opportunity to talk about everything that we're doing, and I can't thank you enough for that. And again, to any of your people that are listening, come in Monkey Business. That's like our main landing chat. Ping me in there, say that you heard me on Blue's show, and I will give you that temporary Wall Street Kongs roll so you can come in and vibe with us if you want to.
Love it. No, appreciate the invite. I'm sure there's some people out there that will find themselves in Kongs after that. And yeah, you guys have a weekly Wednesday monkey
chart monkeys.
Chart monkeys. Yeah. Yep. I saw like half of it earlier today. Super interesting, man. Especially the bullish and bearish. I need to join more on that when you guys are live and just say my take as well.
Come in and bro, I'd love to have you on the show. Like, I'd love to have you on the show. You'd be a great guest. It's just sort of an overview of Web3. It's a weekly show, Wednesdays at 12 p.m. Eastern. It's just supposed to be kind of fun. We talk about Kongs a little bit, but it's not like a Kongs focus show. So love to have you on. We'll chat in DMs. I'd love to get on there.
Let's do it, man. Man, thank you again so much. It's been an honor. Love everything Kongs. Huge fun. Like the rest of the space, and I can't wait for that start proving to everyone like where it should be, and like still being cooking like with everyone in the team and the community, obviously.
Hell yeah. Thank you, dude. Really appreciate you.
Awesome. Thank you, everybody. Have a great rest of the week, and we'll see you on the next one. Thank you. Bye-bye.